We will not comply. No. Stick to our plan and fight. Now it's you and me. First suppression, one for the ages. They won't hold us down. No. We're fired up at the sound of one nation under God, indivisible. They will try to take our crown, but they can't take it from me. Stars, 13 stripes, ain't it beautiful? It's time we unite, unmovable, standing side by side, united we stand, divided they will fall. One nation under God, indivisible. They will try to take our crown, but they can't take it from me. We have to stick to the plan. We will stick to the plan. It's liberty for all. It's time we unite and fight, fight, fight.
Well, hello, everyone. It is another Monday.
Hi, Kevin.
Monday. Yep, we got them both up on the screen. Normally, I just open with just me, but I figured we'd
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all
New,
fine.
new show opener.
Yeah. What do you think?
Stick to the plan show opener.
I think I'm going to tweak
I
it
like
a little
the
bit.
Fight spot.
Yeah, I really like that part. I wrote that part.
Yeah. You did.
Well, I think there's some lyrics in there that are a little cheesy. I need to fix, though.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
it's not bad. It's
change
the pace.
I said, a little long. I thought,
Oh yeah, that's the other.
it's like the Hits Home Jackson one. I really liked it. Matter of fact, I like it better.
That
than
one's
that one.
really long.
That one is long. Kevin has embraced AI.
Yeah, I've bowed down to our it's inevitable. Our inevitable AI overlords.
You had a good point. AI doesn't reduce work though.
No, I spent more hours. Well, I was talking to my Uncle Joe about AI music, and if I would have hired a band and a studio that could actually record that, wrote the lyrics,
Sure,
you're talking a couple of days work. I spent 6 hours, tweaking that on my computer one night.
Not to mention cost.
Yeah, cost. Oh yeah, cost is a whole different. That's a whole different story.
But no, it's pretty cool. I like the new intro. I guess we've been doing this a year and a half.
And we changed it. Well, we did change it.
Oh,
remember?
I liked our old intro.
I did.
Didn't say anything though.
No lyrics, but I actually because I did an AI one for all my shows, and one of the shows I sent to one of my friends, and they're like, "Where the heck did you find a band or a song that did, that has those lyrics in it?" Because it was very specific. They didn't even know it was AI.
So old people. I seen John Wilson, the host of Hits Home Jackson, at a Jackson City Council meeting.
Yes.
And prior to the meeting, he mentioned his new intro with the show you and him do. And I go, yeah, he's Kevin's put one together right now for me. Oh my God, how does he do that? And I fell for this trick too. John goes, John, it's AI. And John was blown away. He didn't realize that was AI. He thought maybe you hired a band.
That's what I wondered. And I never specifically told him AI, but you picked up on it immediately.
So because I learned a couple months ago when Chris Baird put together like a short video for the Jackson GOP and had music to. Oh, it was the grand opening video prior to our grand opening here at the Jackson GOP headquarters, and he had music to it. And I asked, hey, what, and he told me it was AI. Went, so as old people know how it works. know that that's the case. But yeah, old people get tricked.
But John's older than you.
And that's what I'm saying. He was tricked, and I learned a month before he learned. Okay?
Yeah, now he knows. Yeah,
now he knows, right? And so now, when I hear those types of intros, I pretty much can say, yeah. AI.
If it's too specific, then you know I didn't hire a band and write a song and get some studio.
I was like, where'd you do? Have them in the studio here? I was back in the events room, and had a band and wrote some lyrics and
I've done 6 songs. I've done an intro and an outro for Grandma's Boy, and then John's. I've done my Sunday show. I've done this one plus a couple other random ones, and it's like you said, it's a lot. It doesn't mean less work. It's its own kind of work.
Yeah,
because it gets your creative juices flowing. Most of the lyrics I have to retweak and rewrite.
Right.
Like that one was the one we have is it still needs some tweaking, but there were some really really bad lyrics when it first came out.
So I was at an event Saturday. We'll talk about that event. It was the Laura Perry for state representative.
I wonder if you had made it. I saw John posted. By the way, John's not here. Even though he's in the title, as everybody know. John
is here. You just can't see him.
Yeah, he's invisible.
AI has made him invisible.
Yeah, we didn't know John was AI the entire time.
Can you AI maybe his voice coming in? Responded. So we'll get that.
Probably have done enough.
You know what? We don't need John here ever. We'll just AI Jon Smith here.
And I hate to go off a tangent here, but I thought of something the other day. Another friend of mine was on his stream was looking at this website called Celebrity Cutouts, and you can make your own cutout. And then I'm like, wait a minute, and I have a full-on recording studio. Remember, we used to dream about that. We just cut out with a microphone
at work.
Yeah, and then then it just plays. I can make that happen now.
Don't tell your boss that because he just AI your job.
No, he won't. He'll ask me to AI my job.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's not doing it.
Yeah, Rhonda's going to try, then I'll murder her.
Was I talking about John and Laura Perry?
John Perry, Laura Perry.
So I went to there's a woman running for Michigan State House seat. I think it covers Monroe, Washington, maybe whatever. It's not my district.
Southeast Michigan.
Yeah, over there. And it was in Dundee at an old mill. Haven't been to Dundee in a while. That's the home of Cabela's if you're in Michigan.
I like Dundee. I think Dundee's a cool little city.
I remember when Dundee was nothing until Cabela's, and now it's kind of a kicking little town. But went to Dundee. Holy shit, Kevin, I've been a decade in going to fundraisers and things like that. I have never seen a fundraiser as large as this.
Yeah.
For a state rep. Now, I'm not certain who all was involved putting it together. I know John was very part of it.
Yeah.
That's distracting to me.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure we're working.
But John was part of it, Todd. I think the Monroe County GOP had a big part of it. I think this Laura Perry is well known over there. She's she owns an athletic facility. I think 2 or 3 of them now. Her family owned it for years before her, so she's well known. Anyways, you go to these, you got 50, 75 people, you're happy. There was 300-400 people crammed into this place.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the guests. They had our favorite state senator John Lindsay as the MC.
I saw some of the pictures John posted.
That's not even his district.
No,
but they had bordering state representatives, Jim DeSanta.
And if you can get Senator Lindsay there, then why wouldn't you? Good endorsement.
He did an awesome job.
Yeah, he's a great speaker. Great speaker.
Oh yeah, he killed it. They had some audio problems in the beginning. It was really weird, but they got them somewhat figured out. The food was good. I guess they raised a gob of money, but I was impressed. Former state representatives, former state senators, just kind of a who's who of Southern Michigan.
It sounds like Laura Perry might have that seat locked up, at least
so
for
I guess
the primary.
It's one of those near 50-50 seats, and a Democrat holds it. And so they're trying to take a Democrat. The whole thing, the reason why that would be an interest to anybody that lives anywhere else out of that district is we have to secure the state house, and we have to get that seat.
Yeah.
And there's probably a couple other.
A state rep is a state rep. It's still a vote.
That's right. The current Michigan State House is the only thing that we have a majority in right now, and they're holding back the bullshit from the Democrats and passing some great bills that don't go anywhere because it can't pass the Democratic-controlled Senate.
Yeah.
But great job. I guess you could probably Google Laura Perry. She's got probably, I'm sure she got a website and all that.
Yeah, one
Plus
of the
she's
shows,
kind of hot.
She is attractive. One of the shows, I think John brought it up, honestly, and I put her link in the description. I'll find it and I'll put it up there.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the chat.
No, it was cool. I was glad I went. I went with Karen. Now I wasn't going to go, Kevin.
Yeah, you said you weren't.
The
first thing that comes up, by the way, if you Google Laura Perry, is exposing transgender ideology.
Yeah, she's mad at that.
Apparently she's real mad.
I thought it was kind of cool. So she's a high school.
Her last name is hyphenated too. Smoltz.
Probably because her family owned a business.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. I just happened to notice it. She doesn't have one.
So she was either a volleyball or a soccer coach over there, or both. I don't know. But she had some of her former not teammates, because she was the coach, but high school students running her merch table and all that.
Heck yeah.
I like that. That's really cool, because whether they're future Republicans or not, they like Laura Perry.
Yeah.
And they were there. And then they had cool little ways, like they had a clothesline. It wouldn't be a clothesline, where they you filled out a card for donations.
Okay. Yep.
And they put you in the loser category. If it was 50 or more, the 50s go here, the 100s go here. and when you put down other 20, and you just hand it to them. Oh, I guess I won't make it onto the clothesline, but
yeah, well, if there are no losers, there can't be winners. So.
She's not afraid to ask for help,
money, that's huge.
And that's huge in a candidate, because that's what I struggle at, is asking for money. She's not afraid. Ask for money. You got to. I guess the Democrats spent $3 million to win that seat.
$3 million
last time. So she's trying to raise $3 million. Here's the thing where they don't tell you. She doesn't need $3 million. She'll need $3 million to get through the general. Once the primary is over, I doubt anybody's going to run against her in a primary. She's showed a lot of strength. You'd be crazy to run against her. Once the primary is over, a lot of organizations are going to help her raise that $3 million or more. That'll be a big money seat. They see it coming. But what happened that day is Eric Nesbitt, candidate for Michigan governor.
Yeah, he was driving around his tractor, wasn't he?
He driving his tractor. And he lives, I don't know where, west side of the state somewhere.
Right. And
so the Friday he was in Kannapolis. By the way, that's where someone stole their cop car over the weekend.
Really?
That's another story we'll bring up.
I think I've heard of Kannapolis 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
And one of them was when the cop car got stolen.
That was just this weekend.
Yeah. I happened to scroll through it. You might have posted it. I don't know.
They were in Kannapolis Friday, Coldwater, and some other town that way, driving the tractor. And then this morning, or Saturday morning, they started at 8 a.m. at Meckley's down in Somerset, and then went over to Adrian at noon, and then they were at the Laura Perry event at 5 o'clock.
Makes sense, actually. As you think about the route, why wouldn't you stop?
So guess what? I'm not supposed to tell people, but they didn't drive the tractor the whole way.
Scandal.
They did drive the tractor, but then after the Coldwater event on Friday, they trailered it and went to Hank's house.
Oh, well.
And overnighted the tractor at Hank's, and then drove the tractor from Hank's farm, which isn't very far from Meckley's. But then he drove the tractor all the way.
That's still a long trip. That's a long time on a tractor.
Yeah.
And if you had a tractor and you had to park it overnight, I can't think of a better place than Hank's house.
Yeah. You know what? It almost sounded like maybe candidate Nesbitt stayed at Hank.
Like
why wouldn't you drive home though? It was just
like hours. Mrs. Hank made up the bed and made breakfast.
Well,
is there a Mrs. Hank?
I guess I
figured.
I've only met her once.
I've never met her, so that's why I was asking.
Only met her once. We had a fundraiser for Hank. She came out for that.
I bet you Mrs. Hank is a nice lady.
She is a nice lady.
She's really nice. She probably bakes
Hank was
really
at
well.
of course, the Nesbitt event at Meckley's.
Yeah.
And I got thinking, well, if Eric Nesbitt stayed at Hank's house, I bet they had a heck of a breakfast.
Oh yeah, and a dinner. And there's probably a snack in there. I'm sure. If just knowing a little bit I know about Hank, and just assuming and stereotyping who he, like what kind of lady Mrs. Hank would be, there was sausage gravy and biscuits and.
No, we were at Meckley's and they threw down donuts and coffee, and we piggied them right up.
I think I'd still rather eat Mrs. Hank's food.
I do too. Let me tell you something about Meckley's. So
and I love Meckley's donuts.
I'm there at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And they didn't have donuts out yet. And plus, Mrs. Russ wanted me to bring home Meckley's donuts, just plain donuts.
They're good though. Even the plain ones are good.
Plain donut made at a farm market. You know what I mean? It's not like a Meyer donut.
No.
And they were closed. I says, Steve Meckley, I says, I need some donuts. I'm bringing some out. Well, I didn't get a chance to tell him. No, that's not my point. I got to bring donuts home. They put some donuts out. We ate them. Well, they opened like at 8:30.
Oh.
You'd think they'd open a little early. Let me tell you about 8:30. There was already 10, 12 people waiting at the door to get in there to get them donuts.
I used to live around the corner from Hinckley's. Oh, try to get in there on Sunday morning.
That's kooky talk over to Hinckley's.
No, don't even. It's not even worth it.
But anyways,
Roy, how you doing, buddy?
The event was done 8:30, 8:45, and I had to wait in line to get my donuts to take home to Mrs. Russ. And so I bought 6 plain donuts. Of course,
they couldn't hook you up with a express line on that one? Or?
No express. You wait in line.
You wait in line like everyone else.
But I'm telling you, I was waiting in line. It's a farm market, right? It's an apple orchard. I'm waiting in line. People are friendly, excited about getting their donuts. I only wanted 6 plain donuts and 6 chocolate dip. You can buy all kinds of donuts there. I'm waiting in line. I look over to the right, and they have a cooler. And they have, I don't know, fresh strawberry cake deal.
Oh, that's like excited.
A cake with strawberries on the top, a cake, then strawberries, and then more cake.
Yeah, like a strawberry shortcake, but
with
better
whipping cream.
Yeah.
It looked very delicious.
Yeah.
I almost bought one. I was standing right there.
You should have.
They know they got you standing in line. You're going to buy those things.
I would have bought it.
Yeah. It looked very, very good. It's strawberry season, so you would probably sell strawberry stuff.
Oh, yeah, it is strawberry season.
All right. But so 8 donuts, almost $14.
Oh, worth it.
No, it was worth it. And plus, guess what? You're going to buy them no matter what the price is.
You don't ask the price.
I don't know how much Meyer donuts are because I just don't really eat many donuts anymore, but I bet you it's that or
I don't know.
Meyer donuts aren't bad, but they're not.
Meyer donuts are good if you get them early and fresh because they do make them in-house. But it's like, well, Polly's makes them in-house, don't they? At least ours, the one we worked at, did.
They did. Yeah, they did over there.
And I think Parnell Road does too.
But
anyway,
get this. I get home and I'm going to eat my donut. You know what made it delicious?
Cider.
It tasted like a apple orchard farm market smells.
Yeah,
it had
you're right.
It had, your plain donut should taste like plain donut, but that's nice when it had that farm market.
Well, a plain donut is going to absorb whatever's around it.
It's an apple orchard farm market.
It's delicious.
It was great. So Meckley's, if it was closer, I'd go there every weekend, and I can't eat donuts every weekend. It's 20 minutes away. Get this, Kevin. I was driving to the Meckley's, and I went through the big town of Liberty.
The giant town of Liberty.
For those that don't live in Jackson County, Liberty exists of one store.
It's literally a one stoplight town.
There ain't a light stop sign, and it's really easy. Maybe there's a blinking light.
I think there's a blinking light. Yeah.
That store though sells hardware, medical supplies.
They have to
gasoline, you name it. But gas was $2.89.
Gas down there is cheaper, I've noticed.
So here's what got me. It was $3.09 in Michigan Center, Michigan. The Michigan Center, Michigan, most of Jackson has a hard time getting under the $3 mark.
I've heard that Jackson has one of the highest taxes.
Supposedly, we're paying for the Enbridge leak that happened 20 years ago. I think it's horse shit.
Yeah, I agree.
But so $3.09. It was $1.89 in Liberty.
Yep.
But then later that day, I seen people posting in Jackson, $289, $199, things like that. But guess what? Michigan Center still $309 this morning.
I believe it.
Where did I get gas? Michigan Center.
Yeah, well, you have to.
I didn't need gas when I was in Liberty.
I did the same thing. I have a friend down in Onstead area. Gas at 127 or not 127, M50 and 12, right there by the track. Gas was like, because I put premium in my Beamer.
Oh yeah.
And so gas was like $3.89 a gallon for me, which is cheap for premium. And I think it was a $2.
You got to put premium in that Beamer?
Yeah. Oh well, I use an additive that it changes normal to unleaded or to premium, but yeah, the normal unleaded or the normal gas was like $2.89 or $2.90, and it was like $3.50 up here, $3.20 up here, whatever.
So last summer I bought a brand new 4-stroke 50-horse Yamaha motor for my pontoon.
By the way, a dozen fresh donuts at Myers is $9.49.
Okay, I didn't buy a dozen. Oh, for $13. Well, that's worth the extra money.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Bought a new boat motor for the pontoon.
Right.
And I double checked with the marina that I bought it. Yep, regular gas is fine. You read the book, go online, regular gas. Somebody we both know lives on my lake had a brand new Yamaha. It went to shit. It was in this shop all one season, made in matter and hell.
Yeah.
And she's adamant you're supposed to use rec fuel. Rec fuel, they're saying no. I think maybe she just got a lemon. I keep checking. I'm worried. Myers sells rec fuel. I guess it wouldn't hurt to use rec fuel.
I mean, yeah, it won't kill it, but it's more expensive. Because is that the same fuel that's the random pump at Speedway? Like at Speedway, there's like a pump way off to the side.
Isn't that diesel?
No.
Oh, maybe it is.
I think it's rec fuel. But I mean, the thing is,
my neighbor's got a 4-stroke Honda, and he doesn't use rec fuel. None of them do. But I'm like, well, I wouldn't want my boat to break. I'm gonna tell you another story. I got new neighbors. They bought a brand new pontoon this last spring, but last year's spring, with a 50-horse Honda on the back. Honda's usually a great motor. It was in the shop half the season. Okay.
Apparently, they're not that great of motors if everyone is broken.
So this year, they're all happy, and the kids are there, and they're all ready. They got their boat in the water, and guess what? They had problems. They were online looking for a mobile marine guy.
Oh, do those exist? They should.
Get this. A lot of marinas say mobile marine, like our buddy Pat King at King's Mobile Marine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not mobile repair. That's mobile.
I drive my truck over and take your boat out of the yard and put it in the water.
Yeah, in and out. They're not coming to your house. Now there is a guy, and about an hour later, I seen a hokey out on the dock with my neighbors and pointing and scratching, and then the boat never did leave. But wouldn't that make you mad? Brand new shit, brand new boat. Now probably under warranty, but you're missing out on your summer. You
still have to send it in for the warranty.
Krupa's is the Honda dealer here in Jackson. Krupa's over here on Francis Street. It's got those big glass windows so you can see the boats.
Yep.
I'm thinking about the second, third time I got to bring my boat back there. I'd back that thing right through the glass.
It's according to the Yamaha website, the recommended fuel is octane 87. Just standard fuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forget. There's a reason when you would use rec fuel. There is a reason.
Yeah.
And I
think it's just a higher octane.
I don't fit that reason.
Like race cars and shit is what I thought. But
I told you I fried my accessory lead though.
Yeah, well, that had nothing to do with rec fuel.
No, I had nothing to do with the motor. So the other night when I was leaving the music in the park on my lake, it was getting dusk and my navigation lights didn't work. So I had to hammer home real quick. I'll tell you, it's really nice to be able to put her down and get home in a hurry.
And not worry about it. Well, hopefully not worry about it breaking.
I've had 20 years of boats break down halfway home when I do that. No, I don't have that problem no more. So that's nice. But that's Stick to Plan podcast because we got in the weeds about everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually now I'm in the weeds about what rec fuel really is. And they're recommending it for like weed whackers. Yeah. Chainsaws, generators, pumps, lawnmowers, snowblowers, Small engine equipment.
Just use it. It might.
Outboard motors. It doesn't matter. It's just it's ethanol free.
Oh,
is the only difference.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's our tangent for the day. I'm sure we'll find another one. We went from donuts to wreck fuel.
I don't know.
Anyway, so this bitch probably stayed at
Hank's house.
Hank's house. At least he stored his tractor there.
They had homemade ice cream in the evening.
Oh yeah.
And strawberry shortcake.
Oh yeah, way better. Probably the same cake that Meckley's was selling the next morning.
Fresh eggs and
oh yeah, like still warm.
Sausage.
They're still warm from the chicken's ass.
Like cut the sausage links off the pig.
Yeah, just right off. The pig's still running around there eating the bacon right off his back.
Right.
It's crazy.
I don't know if he stayed there or not. I know the tractor did. But it was.
I'm trying to think where else down there would he stay. It's not like there's a lot of
drive home.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
he's
motels.
Probably 3 hours from home. But then again, I guess it depended on what.
True.
One of his aides told me that the tractor spent the night at Hank's.
Oh, okay.
I kind of thought I heard that they overnighted at Hank's. Now the guy told me that lives in Jackson, so he probably didn't stay at Hank's. So I think
I would have.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Hank's breakfast. I mean, I don't know,
I would
but I assume.
I would assume.
Next time I see Hank, I'm going to ask him. I bet you'll be right. He might invite me over for breakfast.
I made breakfast on the flat top the other morning.
Oh yeah, I forgot you got that.
The Blackstone
thingy.
Yeah,
I almost bought one, but then I
didn't. Last year I used it a lot.
Yeah.
You can go online and look for recipes. Yeah, at the end of the day, you get sick of that. You get to where you're just using it for
it's just a flat top.
routine stuff.
Yeah.
It's great for breakfast and smash burgers and hamburgers and.
But you can make you use a normal grill for that too.
No, there's specific things on the flat top. Now my friend Randy
scrambled
Guppy,
eggs.
Yeah, you could. My friend Randy Guppy cooks all kinds of stuff on his. I don't know. I'm a pork steak and
I
veggies guy.
I like the grill marks. I feel like it.
But I did a fantastic breakfast. I learned something that I buy store packaged sausage links and bacon at Polly's Country Market. They're old school, have still packaged their own meat, not like Meijer where it comes from somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, Meijer's comes from whatchamacallit?
Like at Meijer, when you buy hamburger, it's 1 pound exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like they got cows in the back of Polly's, but they do package their own.
Right. They have a solid meat department. Kroger used to be like that, but they changed.
They didn't have sausage links.
Really?
They were out. So I bought Bob Evans. You know what? Bob Evans sausage links are way better.
I think that's the company. I think Bob Evans sausage links are Meijer's. I think
I learned something years ago.
Or what is it?
I worked for a company.
Yeah.
I worked for a company. Meijer, all the off brands.
Yeah.
Would buy from Bob Evans.
Yeah.
And then
it's called white label.
The difference is every Bob Evans sausage then is fresh, never frozen. They would freeze the Meijer kind. Now Meijer might throw it out in the thing and it unthaws.
Well, yeah.
But that's the difference.
That makes sense.
Right. So
I knew that there was some similarity. I couldn't remember what.
There's a Bob Evans slaughterhouse in Hillsdale.
Yeah.
And I worked for a company years ago, and we did some service work there, and that's a trip, dude.
I've heard you told the story before, and I can imagine it's
pigs know they're.
Yeah, they know there's something bad. There's at the end of that ramp. That's nothing
bad,
good.
Bad,
nothing good.
But it makes for delicious pork.
Yeah, apparently the more scared they are, because some animals
they're cutting once they kill the pig and string it up.
Yeah,
they zap them.
Yeah,
kill them. They're cutting meat off immediately.
Oh yeah,
it's not like you wait a little while.
No.
They start cutting.
Well, they got shit to do.
Wow. Anyways, the Bob Evans sausage links were delicious.
Oh yeah, they are good. I like the maple ones.
I don't like sweet stuff.
I don't normally either, but I do like maple sausage links. They're pretty good.
They were on the flat top with fried eggs.
Yeah. He didn't invite me over, by the way.
By the way, eggs are a delicacy now because prices are lower, but they're still not. Eggs aren't cheap, man.
No. Grandma has a friend that has more eggs than she knows what to do with.
Yeah, some of those.
And so she pays them. She pays for them, but they're. I think she's paying $2.50 a dozen.
You drive down a country road and it says fresh eggs for sale. They're always $4.50, $5 a dozen for the farm fresh. For whatever reason, at the grocery store, Eggland's Best is cheaper than the regular's eggs. And sometimes I see the organic ones cheaper than I don't get it.
It must have been none of England's best farms were burned down because of the bird flu.
I guess not. Maybe they're Chinese owned.
I don't know. I don't know who's. I'm assuming everything's Chinese owned at this point.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that's not.
What was I just thinking?
I live in the world of electronics. Chinese owned is what I do.
If an egg's too fresh,
yeah,
doesn't make for great hard boiled eggs. You almost want a little old of an egg.
Well, yeah, the only time I've ever made hard boiled eggs is my eggs are about to expire.
Yeah, fresh ones you can't peel.
But have you? There is something about I jokingly said it earlier, but a egg fresh, like warm still out of a chicken's ass as a fried egg. There's nothing like it.
I somewhat agree.
I mean, even farm fresh eggs in general are
somewhat
better.
An egg is an egg. I just like all eggs.
Well, you ever notice that the farm fresh ones definitely have they have more meat to them. They're thicker.
Sometimes they're hard to flip, like if you want over easy or something.
Yeah. Just whatever. You break it.
Like
you break a yolk. You break
it's kind of like all hot dogs. I like all hot dogs.
Yeah. How many eggs do you want? I don't know how many eggs you have.
I guess eggs are way better for you than hot dogs, though.
Well, I've heard both. Did we figure that out if eggs are good or bad for us? Because
that's back in the day, they were making you have a stroke. Now they're saying no, they're
too high cholesterol, but now it's good cholesterol, and so.
Right. It's like being a diabetic, Kevin. You're not supposed to eat grapes. Are you out of your freaking mind? I'm not eating candy bars. Can I eat a grape?
I fought with my my diabetes doctor about that because I was like, yeah, I love grapes, and I was like, they're like, well, you can't have them. They're so bad for you. I'm like, eating 5 grapes after a meal is better than me eating that piece of cheesecake. I guarantee. He's like, well, the grapes, and I'm like, look at me in the eye.
So I've learned all fruit for diabetics is bad for you unless it's a berry. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, berries, good. Antioxidants. And,
how about cherries? I love cherries. I've been eating a lot of
I
cherries.
don't know about the cherries.
I gotta look that up.
And pears are good for you too. But yeah,
I like pears.
But you know what? I don't eat as many grapes because of that. But if I'm going to die eating a grape, then let me die.
Yeah, I love grapes. I really do. And like I said,
because I like cheesecake too.
I love cheesecake and I love grapes. But guess what? A couple days ago, I literally had a piece of cheesecake and I have grapes in my fridge. And I had a sweet tooth. So I grabbed 5 grapes. I'm assuming my A1C was very happy I grabbed 5 grapes instead of a piece of cheesecake.
I bet. And then get the cheesecake later.
I did eat cheesecake later. It was like 3 or 4 hours later. I just took another shot of insulin. I'll be all right.
It's there. I go to the doctor sometimes this month, check my A1C. I'm anxious to see where it's at.
I think mine's Wednesday.
I'll let you all know if
I think mine's Wednesday. So
it's on my calendar.
Yeah, they've been worried about mine because mine keeps a roller coaster.
Mine was way down. This guy get better.
Yeah, I was finally down into
maybe we should have a doc. Maybe we get Dr. Rob Steele on the show one day.
I wonder what his. I wonder if he knows anything about A1C. I'm sure he does.
Rob Steele knows everything about everything.
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
There's nothing Rob Steele doesn't know.
No, I'm convinced of that. I agree.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Rob in a while. He was at the open house here.
Yeah. I saw him at the open house.
I hadn't seen him in a while. He's been a little silent. The other RNC co-chair from Michigan is, I always screw up her last name, Hema. I don't know it. So I call her Hemoglobin.
Anyway, she better know something about A1C.
No, Hema owns like a communications business or something weird like that.
I was just judging off her name.
But she's been popping up she's been appointed to Election Integrity National Committee. I might bring her here to Jackson. Maybe we'll get her on the Stick to the Plan podcast so we won't talk about eggs and A1C.
Maybe. She'll have no idea what we're talking about. That's the new shtick we're gonna do. We're just gonna bring politicians on and ask them things they're not qualified to answer, but nothing to do with politics.
Rob would answer the questions. I don't know about hemoglobin.
Yeah, well,
she's a pretty smart lady though.
I mean, yeah, well, Rob is actually a doctor. He's a real doctor for real.
Cardiologist.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
That's kind of important.
I bet you he can answer the eggs thing because that was the Heart Association's big push.
He'll probably tell you what they thought of eggs 20 years ago compared to now.
And then I want to know his opinion though.
We could call him on the phone. He wouldn't answer that.
I trust his opinion. I don't know. Rob Steele told me this, so
I want to have heart problems so that Rob Steele's my doctor.
If I have heart problems, I know where I'm going. I mean, why wouldn't I?
He's probably not taking patients.
I wonder if he takes Medicaid.
They all do. It pays well.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
it just pays.
Oh, yeah, that's just pays.
They literally, when I worked in medical billing, I remember the letters that said, this is for Illinois, but it's probably the same around. It's like, Medicaid, like you bill us this, we're paying you this, and you'll get it when funds become available.
That's why they cut your stays in the hospital short when you're on the Medicaid. So I hear.
Maybe.
I don't know. They'll cut you out a little loose.
Well, yeah, because they tell you like no.
I got the sweet insurance through the Mrs. Russ right now. So
most insurances they negotiate with them, but Medicaid's like no, or Medicaid and Medicare we pay,
but they all take it.
Yeah, we'll pay you this because
Money's
it's
money.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Plus, there's other benefits to take.
Guess. So Jon Smith's supposed to be here today, and guess what? He forgot about us.
Yeah.
I texted him. He says, "I'm doing something else, Ross," and he's going to lunch with someone else.
Well, he was very apologetic, but he's like, "I forgot about you guys."
Yeah. So I said, "We really don't need you here."
He sounded a little hungover. I mean, allegedly. Maybe he just woke up. He probably just woke up.
He's been busy.
He probably just woke up.
But we do have guests lined up for the next 2 weeks. I'll announce that now. So there is a unbelievable person running for Michigan Attorney General. Kevin, I'm going to say Kajewski, but I've heard him introduced like it's Kajewski, but pronounced with a little more Polish pizzazz to it.
Maybe he has a little bit of, it's a little throaty. Like,
I don't know. Maybe you should ask your grandma when you see her. She knows.
I'll see her tonight. I'm sure she knows him.
Anyways, Kevin Kajewski, who announced for his run for Attorney General at the Lapeer County Lincoln Day dinner that I happened to be at. I was invited by Kevin Kajewski to
unofficially was at our open house.
And he was at our open house.
Yeah,
he came with my friend Mark Fortin, who is now a part of Michigan Matters.
Okay. Yeah, we had him on.
Yes, we've had Mark.
We had him on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. But anyways, Kevin's going to be on the podcast next Monday. We're going to have to stay focused.
He gave me homework even.
I did. I gave you homework.
He's like, watch this, boy.
He was on Grassroots Army.
Okay.
You know that Garrett Soldano, he's a good interviewer. You know, I think he's been through special classes. Unlike you and I, we just learned on our own.
Yeah, I just watched a lot of Bubba Waters.
So I figure we'll watch Grassroots Army, and what Garrett didn't ask, we'll ask, or we'll expand on what Garrett asked.
Yeah, I'll make some notes for sure.
But he'll be chiming in remotely. I'd say at least give us a half hour, 45 minutes. So next week, Kevin Kajewski will be on, candidate for Michigan Attorney General. And then the following week, I've already booked up a candidate for Jackson City Council.
Ew. Caleb, right?
Caleb Blanke.
Okay. I had my calendar up. I cheated.
Can you believe that we've got guests lined up 2 weeks in advance?
No. I only give him one job, and normally he's like that.
And it was yesterday. I thought, let's get John on here for the fun of it because we didn't have.
And John always is usually down to pop in.
So my buddy Scott McMahon, who I don't like as much as I used to, from what's his podcast? Gosh, I pay money to see it.
Yeah. I have a hard time keeping track of the names of all my podcasts.
I should know. It's a good podcast.
It's right into my tongue.
I even pay $5 a month to subscribe. It's the only one I do.
Yeah.
Well, I'll think of it in a minute.
Yeah, I will.
I was going to mention him. Oh, you know what? They were trying to. He was part of lawfare.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Lapeer County commissioner.
Okay.
And they tried to claim that when he filed that he didn't live in the house he lives in.
Of course.
And they like stacked all these charges against him, crazy charges, like go to prison charges. And he was exonerated.
Exonerated.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Or he mentioned it in an email that he sent that he's been exonerated. So good for Scott. The lawfare needs to stop in this state. It's bad. We talked about Hank already.
It needs to stop overall, if you ask me.
But Kevin Jarzewski's all about that. He is one of the elector's attorneys. He's not Hank's attorney.
Yeah.
He is. And then he was also the superintendent for the Detroit Catholic school system.
Oh, really?
Like 90 schools. They have like 90 Catholic schools in the Detroit area. And he was the superintendent for that. So it's not like he's just a good attorney.
Bigger news media.
Bigger News Media.
It just popped in my head.
Bigger News Media.
Because when I Googled him, I was going to try to cheat, but it popped up Dr. Scott McMahon, who does Medicine and Miracles podcast.
That would not be him.
That's not him, no. Something about mold.
So I still like Scott a lot. He's always about how the General Flynn is running a psyop on us. And you know what? Scott's got a good point. Trump don't give a shit about General Flynn.
No.
General Flynn pretends like Trump does, so that you watch his collaboration of podcasts,
right,
and give money and do events and pay money to go to. But it's all a bunch of bullshit. Here's the problem with Scott. If you've ever come close to General Flynn, you're part of the psyop.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Epstein Island and the Diddy stuff. Okay.
Did you do it?
So just because you've been to Epstein Island doesn't mean you had sex with children. Lots and lots and lots of people took advantage of going to beautiful Epstein Island.
Yeah, you have a billionaire friend that wants to fly you to a beautiful tropical
and
island.
Guess what? You didn't even know that sex with children was available.
Even if you did, you're like, I'll stay on that side of the island.
But you probably island. Should say something. But you could probably have gone to Epstein Island and hung out and had a good time, not even know that sex with children was available.
Yeah, especially like ritualistic or whatever as they claim.
But many that go, like Bill Clinton 39 times or something. Yeah, he was diddling with the fiddling.
Yeah.
There's lots of people.
They're Clintons.
I'm not people are like, oh my God, Russ. No, bad things happen at Epstein Island. He was a freak, and probably good that he's dead, burning in hell. But just because you're on that list of the Loretta Express doesn't mean you had sex with children or even know that happened there. Lots of people did. Just like Diddy. You might have showed up at Diddy's freak party, had a good time, and didn't know that you could go and have butt sex with 50 Cent.
well, that's actually
or Beyonce or whoever the hell. I don't know.
I was listening to a pretty popular podcast on the Gas Digital Network, and they were talking about the same thing. They're like, so you're telling me that I go to this party and I get drunk and do all these drugs, and there's a possibility that I don't know, Cassie is licking my butt to wake me up in the morning, and DJ Khaled is whispering in my ear. Sounds like a great time, actually.
It's right.
Isn't that's what rock stars do, right? That's what I always, as a child, I always thought like billionaires and rock stars do. They're just doing drugs and having sex in their mansions.
Don't you think elites, Hollywood elites, rock stars, world elites, what happens is they've got so much available to them, things that you dream about having, that they have to step it up a notch with weird shit.
Yeah, I think.
And then they go down the deep end, and next thing you know, you're having sex with 14-year-olds. I don't know.
I have two theories on that. I think absolutely. I think that you just have all the sex you want to have, and so you have to step up your own personal deviancy. And I guess homosexual sex with children is the ultimate level. But you have to
Satan
kind of
worship.
Yeah, you have to believe in like the cabal type stuff where it's like, no,
it's evil shit.
You have to do this stuff on film, because that way if you go against us, we got something on you.
Right. So
I do believe there's something involved with that.
Oh, I think the Diddy thing was really big on that. Is they got you in a trap, so now
you have to keep on.
You went to a freak party for your third time. Now you're this happened. We got you. Now you're part of it.
They have you on camera. You have to do what they say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Whatever. If I would go to a Diddy freak party.
If I had been invited, I'd have been right there hanging out at a Diddy party.
Just like that one thing you sent me. But 3 minutes in, I'd be sitting on the end of the bed waiting. Can we go home now? They're talking about 3, 4, 5 days. I'm like, you guys are insane.
Yeah, a couple hours is fine.
Yeah, I need some Gatorade, some granola bars. Even a couple hours.
Not with children.
A couple hours. That means I watch TV for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
I forgot. Diddy did 3, 4, 5 days.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, those are some good drugs.
Well, I'm assuming that all the
you get
drugs.
to take a nap somewhere in between, or
I don't think you have a choice. But the thing is you got to remember any drug that was at Diddy's party was good drugs.
I'm assuming better than the Jackson drugs.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, they're not getting bullshit.
No, they'd be real mad.
Yeah, and I don't think Diddy would handle that very well.
Anyways, other than sex with children, you know,
that-
you and
and
I,
see,
you and I've lived the Jackson Diddy experience
more than most people know.
more than most people know,
or will ever know. Well,
or should they know?
Here's one thing that really everybody I think is mucking up with the Diddy thing as well, is that all of his legal allegations have nothing to do with children.
Yeah, it's extortion, isn't it?
It's extortion and trafficking.
I really haven't.
They got him on a RICO case. It's basically it's extort. It turns out to be mostly extortion and human trafficking.
Yeah,
but they're adults. Now there are allegations of children being involved, like Bieber and stuff. But there's no charges against him. Everybody's mucking it up and clumping it in with the Epstein stuff. Two different things.
He can't even get bail. He's in jail now, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, because he's rich enough that he can just jump on a private jet and just go somewhere.
So
I think
because I don't really give a shit too much about Diddy. I don't pay attention to Hollywood elites and rappers and rock stars much. I don't. They're never been my role models or anything.
Yeah.
And so I really haven't paid attention much. The Epstein thing, since there's political people involved, I'm a little more pay attention to it than the Diddy thing.
Well, I think that the Diddy thing and the Epstein thing, they do have some similarities because we're talking about elites.
Yeah.
There's a very good possibility that Diddy went to Epstein Island, and there's a very good possibility that Epstein went to one of Diddy's freak-offs. You know, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But and now I don't. They've never been role models to me either. But I think it's hilarious because I'm reading through all this stuff of all these hardcore thug rappers who Diddy put something in their pooper to make them famous. So it's hilarious.
Sell your soul to be famous. Wow.
There's an interview with Tupac that I played on my show before that where it was when he was in art school in New York, and he is a little light in the loafers. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's interesting because there's always a rumor of that.
Yeah,
but that interview, which was before Suge Knight made him famous, and the Tupac that we knew before he died were two very different individuals.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You can't just be like a famous guy like Ted Nugent, you know.
I pray Uncle Ted ain't up there diddling kids over in Hillsdale.
I think he has, but
who knows?
Wait a minute. He did marry a 14 or 15-year-old back in the early 70s and got permission from her parents to adopt. Is it? He don't like to talk about that, but his second wife was a teenager.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
But you know,
that was a different time.
It was the 70s and a little weird. And
at least he got permission. Hey,
and you know what? They divorced. She's she's not outspoken like it was horrible or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
the news isn't.
I'm sure he handled it well. It's not like
that dude's pushing 80.
Yeah, he's an old dude. I saw him the other day at some video. I think he was alive, like it was a live concert, and he's still looking good though.
He does.
I mean, he looks the same he did to me back when. Remember that stupid show he did?
Yeah.
On VH1.
Yeah.
Like he looks the same to me.
Yeah.
He hasn't aged since then.
It's all the wild game.
I'm sure.
I do believe that he's even back in the 60s when he was at the Amboy Dukes, and then through that whole era, I think he did stay sober. I think he is pure in that regard. Another one that came along later is Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
now Gene's kind of but they're both dicks. Gene, you like Gene Simmons sometimes, but sometimes you're like, he's an asshole.
Gene Simmons is one of the greatest marketers in rock and roll history.
Yeah, because he wasn't that great of a bass player.
They weren't that good of a band.
No, they weren't. I'll tell you, Kevin, back when you used to play music and you were young, and I'm like, you got to come up with a song that has the same lyrics over and over. Rock, 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 party, party, party.
Godsmack is the greatest at that.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Love, sex, hate, love, sex. Great. I don't know. But like 3 words. You just say it over and over again.
Kiss is famous for it. They made gobble money, and plus their whole beyond the music making money, playing off everything that they've done.
Well, Gene Simmons was smart, and he made sure that he owned all of it.
You know, I watched the
It still
interview.
does.
He was a little boy when his mom immigrated to the United States, and
I know.
it was a sad, weird story.
Yeah.
Like most immigrants way back in that time, it wasn't easy. And
Where did she immigrate from? I didn't know that, but I know that he's Jewish.
I forget.
Probably somewhere weird. By the way, real quick, Roy Rat, one of the fans of all my shows, he said he's putting together some morale packages for Rumblers, and he's going to put us on there because we were talking about berries. He was talking about acai berries and like dried acai berries and how trail mixes. I said we love trail mix here at the Stick of the Blind podcast.
I heard, you know,
so he's going to send us some trail mix.
At the grocery store, they have dried fruits.
Yeah,
I heard that's real bad. No matter what dried fruit is, real bad for the diabetic.
Really?
To me, what's the difference? They dried the fruit. Do they add sugar to it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe Roy Rat can answer
Where
that.
I grocery shop, they have a big selection of dried fruits. It sounds yummy.
Roy Red just said, I still have my OG Ted Nugent United Sportsmen's Association card from the late 90s. Roy Red, I don't know if you know this, but he owns a ranch, I guess, a farm, half hour from here? Not even 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
In our county.
Yeah, it's that's why we have wild hogs.
He lived there many, many, many years before he built his ranch in Texas.
Yeah.
I think he had the ranch in Texas and he hunted it. And now he lives on the ranch in Texas, which, by the way, I heard is next door. By the way, is Texas. It's huge. Next door to the Bush.
Yeah, George W. Bush's ranch.
Yeah, they're neighbors.
Yeah, I mean it's only like 400 acres or something.
Yeah, it's like Yeah.
So it's a while
or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason we have wild hogs in Michigan is because of Ted, because he brought them from Texas and then they burrowed under his fences and now we have wild hogs.
He would have wild game hunts, boars, whatever. He had some elk out there, I think.
Yeah,
and,
but elk are different.
But in pigs, when they breed, they have like 14, 15, 16. And
they can breed. And boars, like those wild boars, can breed with any pig. Pigs can breed with pigs.
But get this, I haven't been hearing of the wild boars in Jackson County as much as I did, say, a decade ago.
I agree. I've ran into,
or we're just used to them and wherever they're at, and no one brings.
I've only ran into one ever.
I seen one driving down the road.
I was down in Jonesville. When I worked at that haunted house, we did. We would at night we do patrols because they had horses, and we would just walk around because there's coyotes and other things. And we came across a wild boar, and Adelie, one of the owners, she was with me, and the boar ran at us. She fired at it twice. You have to hit the sweet spot though, but then eventually took it down.
So it was an ornery one, because you hear they're
ornery,
protective, but most of the time they just run from you.
Yeah, that's probably why I've never seen them. But this one was, I think we came up on it, he, whatever it was, came up on it and spooked it. It was.
So,
luckily we were armed.
And
we had bacon the next
last 30 years. I've watched around here. We never used to have swans. We have swans. We never used to.
We just had that conversation on Facebook.
Yep. We never used to have eagles. We have eagles. Ospreys. We got ospreys. Beavers. I have a beaver that lives in my neighborhood.
I think last year, the year before, the first time I saw a beaver.
We got one big boy.
Yeah,
beavers are big anyway.
Yeah, they're way bigger than
beavers, and
they're mean.
Something I've wondered about beavers: do they get along with muskrats? Because I used to have a muskrat problem until the beavers showed up.
Now there's beaver problems.
Now I don't. No, I have no problem with the beavers.
No, actually,
they're not hampering anything near where I live. I know they can be very damaging. But the little shit muskrats. But I haven't seen muskrats since the beavers arrived, so maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe it drove the muskrats out.
But one boy, he's big.
Yeah,
I hear they're protective. But did I tell you a story a winter or so ago? I had one of my cats out at the end of the dock in the spring, and the beaver swam under the dock, and the cat was looking, and the beaver turned around and kind of messed with him back and forth.
What?
But he wasn't like he was going to jump out and get the cat. The cat wasn't aggressive towards him.
No, and beavers are
they don't eat cats. They're vegetarians.
Yeah, the only reason that they would attack a cat is because they were threatened.
Yeah, the cat was scared.
Yeah, either that or the cat was.
It was the big cat too, and he was like, "I got it." I don't know what that is. A muskrat. He was like, "That's a big muskrat."
He's like
Striker, the dog that used to live next door to me. He used to slay those muskrats.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, they'd screw up, get up on my land.
Cats and dogs are weird though. So, like a beaver kind of looks like a cat in a weird way. So I can see a cat going, maybe it's a cat.
So why is it swimming in the water like that?
Hey, cat, why are you in the water? Why are you chewing on that tree?
I just seen somebody nearby recorded a eagle. Maybe it was John Taylor. He just lives in Parma. Recorded an eagle swooping down and picking up a pretty good sized rabbit. Which that's what they eat.
That's crazy to watch too.
So, I have a 7-pound cat.
Yeah. That's a rabbit.
Yeah. Now I have a 14-pound cat. A little different story. And the 7-pound cat is not really that smart.
Yeah,
he's a cutie pie.
Basil wasn't that smart when he was young. He became one of the smartest cats I ever met in my life.
Now, this little one, he is quite the hunter. He likes to catch frogs and shrews. Yeah. Cats tend to do that when they're young, and then they get older and they're not hungry and they stop hunting.
They don't taste good.
Yeah, frogs, he gets sick every time he eats a frog. So why are you eating the frog? You notice the older cats aren't eating the frickin' frogs.
Yeah, you got to live a little. You got to live a little.
Yeah. Well, so I think the eagles, where I live, have plenty to eat. They're catching fish.
Oh yeah, they're not starving.
The ospreys, that's all they catch is fish. That's why they're out there. Now I haven't seen the ospreys in about a year, but one summer we had several ospreys, and they were fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Well, we have those. Are the peregrine falcons in downtown?
Yeah.
Everyone's all worried about. Oh well, what about our cats and our? I'm like, there's plenty of stuff for them to eat.
They're birds. That's why you see dead birds on the sidewalks in downtown Jackson, because the falcons.
They'll eat anything, really. I mean, but they
plenty of birds to chase. That's what they go after.
Yeah, birds. And
you ever seen that damn falcon? An action down there. You'll hear them, and you look, and they're fast.
And
do they still got them down
there? I was just about to ask that, because I've noticed where I live, right east of downtown, an abundance of bunnies.
Oh,
in the all that grass between me and the track, yeah. Bunnies. Trust me, Freya lets me know.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I got thinking, where you live now, you could always just catch a train and travel anywhere you want.
I know, just walk across the street,
right there.
Oh,
train costs a ticket there, or you can do that online.
I don't know. Train costs like a nickel.
The oldest active train depot in America. Did you know that?
I knew it was in the state, but
nope, in America. Yeah, and they take care of that pretty good. It is kind of a cool old building. Luckily, it's in the way, or you'd see a lot of trains.
Apparently, beavers are super tasty. According to Roy Rat, when he was up in Alaska, Ukrainian immigrants from the Cold War era would eat beavers.
I could see where they, probably quite.
The idea of eating that thing is, I just couldn't get past. I could eat it if I had to. I mean, why? But much like an eagle or an osprey, or there's plenty of other food. Why would I want to eat a beaver?
I haven't seen the eagle in a while.
I know that pork is delicious.
Pork is delicious.
I don't know about beavers, so I'm just going to go eat some pork.
I heard, there's a season to goose hunt in Michigan.
Yes.
When I was a kid, you couldn't hunt them. You can hunt them now because there's everywhere.
Yeah.
Geese everywhere. But I heard the only thing tasty on a goose, big tall goose, is their breast. Everything else, throw it away. You'd think that big old leg would be.
I don't think I've ever had goose.
My friend Dennis Kurtz told me that.
Huh.
He goes goose hunting because they're kind of fun to hunt.
Yeah, I heard they are. You collect the bands and stuff. Yeah. Well, because we were talking about swans, and I had to look up the law. You can't hunt swans, but you can get a permit, which is hardcore, because it's like you can break their neck and kill them with gas, but you can't hunt them.
Oh.
As long as they're the muted swans are
The trumpeters are native of Michigan.
Yeah.
The muted swans that we see everywhere now are invasive species. But like I said to Jenna, I was like, well, when does something not become an invasive species when they've been around 30 years?
I looked that up. It's whenever they decide it's not.
Right. It's not an invasive species to me. They're routine.
Plus, I live. When you think of invasive species,
and they have cute little babies.
Yeah. And we see more of them than you see.
They don't hurt nothing.
I never noticed that. You don't really see trumpeter swans that often.
No, but we've had some. Your grandma had one guy in her yard.
They have black beaks. Was that trumpeter?
I think they've been. I think they were affected by the bird flu over the winter that affected the trumpeters that we rarely see, and not the mute swans, because we found 2 dead. People found 2 dead trumpeter swans. So I don't know if they're,
Yeah. Well, and so
I haven't practiced veterinarian in quite a while. So
my point is I wonder if they're the same as geese, because Jen had mentioned that, maybe they're delicious. They may be delicious. Well, maybe apparently just the breast.
So what happened that day? I was down at the water, and Mom and Dad were there with the babies. I didn't have my phone with me, and Papa Swan, walked up on the shore. Swans rarely come out of the water. Geese, you see out of the water, they shit on your dock and everything else. They usually stay in the water. I have seen them out of the water, and they're big.
They're big.
He come up out of the water.
Yeah.
I'm about 3 foot away from him. Now, he wasn't aggressive.
But he was letting you know?
I think so. Now, I have a walking stick real nearby. I was like, if he comes at me, I'm whopping the shit.
You got to kick him.
You know what? He was cool. He just kind of hung up. So I was talking to him, the babies. That matters.
Yeah.
I thought, I got to get a picture of him. So I went into the house and grabbed my phone. Time I got back, he got back in the water. But, the day before, Adam was at the end of the dock fishing. He does that every now and then. That same swan came by and purposely made him reel in his line. He's just...
They're very protective of their babies.
He wasn't aggressive, but letting you know he's there.
Yeah.
Dude, I see you. Anyways, he was chest high.
Yeah, they're big. They're big animals.
And his flippers were that big.
And they like with geese, they have claws, and that you worry about the beak, but no, the claws.
Yeah,
because they'll jump. Oh,
so
I've seen geese in action.
I don't golf, but when I have golf, I got kind of chased by some geese before on the golf course.
Geese are assholes.
They don't mess with you where I live.
No, well, again, they have plenty. They have plenty to eat.
Yeah. Now I've noticed swans will keep the geese away. They get along with ducks. They don't really get along with geese. I have minimal geese in my area because of the family of swans.
I wonder if it's a size thing, because they'll get along with ducks because a swan could just end a duck.
I've got a black duck floating around. He's the size of a domestic white duck. 2 of them, all black, beautiful, floating around. Every year I get something new out there. I Googled him, and he is an American black duck.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same duck as Daffy Duck.
The same duck as Daffy Duck.
And they're not really rare to southern Michigan.
Right. I've seen them before.
Yeah. It's just, I've seen them hanging out. It's kind of cool. Take picture. I took a picture and
apparently swans are better, or are supposedly better tasting than geese. According to the chat.
Are we sticking to the plan today? Because we've
wavered off the plan 100. Because my point was too that we think of invasive species as some random gross animal that just showed up. Do you know that the only reason we have mute swans is because white people brought them here from Europe? It's not like they just flew here.
They were invasive at one time too.
They live. That's where they're native, and they decided, hey, we want those swans here.
I know, so that made that an invasive species when you brought them.
In our head, though, I always think of invasive as not human introduced, but now most of them are.
So my area where my house is very mucky and used to have a lot of cattails.
Yeah,
and I have been taken over by a evasive species plant that has killed the cattails.
What are those?
I don't know what it is. I should probably Google and find out. I didn't care because the evasive whatever species plant that it is, I prefer over the cattails. Here's what I don't like about the cattails. The frickin' red-winged blackbirds.
Oh, God, yeah.
They're annoying, loud. No cattails, no red-winged blackbirds. I don't mind seeing my first red-winged blackbird in the spring because that means spring is coming. Other than that, they can go away.
The little asshole birds, too.
They nest in the cattails, and plus my cats try to get to the nest and they fall in the water.
Yeah.
And they're all muddy. They're whatever that noise is they make, I can do without
because they love swampy areas.
They do.
And that's Michigan.
So whatever this weird bushy plant is I have no more cattails.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna rip them out though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rip out all those weeds because I think then it'll move some muck.
Hopefully.
I've seen it happen.
You never know. Right. Anyways,
what do we got?
So what's going on in the world of stuff?
Carp Carnival this weekend.
Oh yeah, Carp Carnival this weekend.
Don't park your boat overnight.
No, or your car.
You can use your car. They said nope, we're not going to pay attention to that ordinance. You can leave your car, just can't leave your boat.
That sounds targeted.
Not at all, Kevin. So anyway,
I'm not on the board. I'll say it.
The ordinance says you got to have your boat out of there by 10 o'clock. Until I pointed out, well, the bands play until 11.
Yeah.
You know what? They're not going to mess with you if you're on your boat, you can sit there and party till 2 a.m. When you leave, take your boat with you.
Yep. Take your boat with you.
That's what I was told. Take your boat with you. You can bring it back at 6 a.m. All right. Checking the weather. I'm a Carp Carnival guy, 4 days. Thursday looks a little rainy. Now they got a little rain on Friday. And I was talking to my friend Dennis. I think they're going to notice a difference with attendance at the carnival because a lot of people, whether the weather was nice or not, just aren't going to go. Or going.
Yeah,
I'm picking one day. I'm going Saturday.
I was thinking about going Saturday. I just go there for the food one day. I love fair food.
I do have that bourbon that tastes like Monday's mints that I'm drinking on Saturday.
I might have to stop and have a drink of that.
So I'm on that fat guy shot. It makes me not drink good. So I haven't been drinking. So last Thursday I was at Music in the Park and I bought these drops. They're called Soberish, and it's like 2 milligrams of THC. And then whatever. And you put it in your drink. It's colorless and tasteless. And I had them in my root beer. Kevin, they do put you in a good mood.
Yeah.
But you know what? To hang out with other drunk people for 5 hours, I don't know if I could do it on the old marijuana drops.
I wondered that because it's been a big push. A lot of podcasters get hired sponsored by them now.
It's not the same.
And they're like, yeah, don't drink, just take these. And I'm like, I don't think that
it lets you tolerate drunk people.
For
a short period of time. Plus, I like to get in a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think the plan is, if the weather looks good on Friday, I might take my boat down there for a little while. But this is what I'm going to do. Saturday morning looks good. A beautiful day for Carp Carnival. 6, 7 in the morning. I'll have my boat down there. I'll park it. Enjoy the whole day. But I think a lot of people are going to do that. Here's what we used to do. 30 of us used to come down. It didn't matter what the weather forecast was. We'd park our boats, and guess what? If there was a break in the action, we'd make it down there. I think it's going to affect the carnival. Now, the carnival's huge. They make gobs of money.
But it's also been declining.
It's not going to significantly affect them.
It's not going to shut it down.
But at the end of the day, I'm thinking some numbers are going to be off.
I don't see how they wouldn't.
The Lions.
I'm betting beer tent numbers will be down at least.
All across the board. Dennis Kurtz has 12 grandchildren.
Yeah.
They're only going to be there on Saturday.
That's a lot of French fries. A lot of
and rides for $25 for the day.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's only hosting the grandkids on Saturday. He used to host them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think there's going to be an effect. And that's government making a rule.
It's an overreach, absolutely.
It's an overreach.
It's an overreach of something that didn't harm anything.
The Lions is a non-political organization. They do wonderful things, but I think they need to get a little bit of a backbone and step up to the township and say, you're ruining our stuff.
They've never had to.
You got to get a permit to have the carnival. Now, up until 3 years ago, you didn't have a permit. They just showed up.
That's what I'm saying. I think for, 60 years, the Lions they didn't have to deal with the government. They had to deal with permits and shit like that. They just did what they – so they've never had to have that backbone. It sounds like maybe they need a change in their leadership.
A little
maybe push. Just for a second.
I think a little pushback. I get it. You don't want politics in
but there are politics involved with it now. It doesn't matter if you want them there or not.
Two people on our board, they're active members.
Yeah, so
it's bleeding over.
You have to do something. I mean, you don't want politics, but they're there.
I'm at the age where I only really need one day of the carnival. Okay. And I got a fifth of bourbon that I'm going to drink on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm looking forward to
it. You guys are on Sunday always decide whether or not half the time you don't go down there on Sunday anyway.
I hold my boat Sunday. I don't go down there.
Yeah, no, not worth it.
I've been down there before, but for the most part, I don't. But anyways, the carnivals this weekend starts Thursday. Michigan Center, Lions Carp Carnival. For those that aren't from around here, it sounds like a goofy name. It's a 55-plus year event.
Yeah. They
raise money. The Lions raises money for hearing aids and glasses, I believe, for children.
Yeah.
So it's a charitable event.
Yeah, it's like
one of the biggest charitable events that any Lions in the nation.
Yeah, I think we touched on this last week. Michigan Center Lions, as far as I know, is the
membership
most profitable, most profitable Lions club in the nation.
I've heard,
and literally the clubhouse is the size of this room.
They don't. Overhead's low.
Yeah, they don't hang out there really.
Overhead is low. They have a beer tent and rides and great food and music. It's a great time. So that's this weekend. Looking forward to it. Hope to see a lot of people there.
Roy Rad brought up a good point. He goes, using THC instead of drinking. It's like drinking beers versus doing shots.
No, it's not.
As far as like,
I guess
intensity.
Kevin,
just drinking beers.
I need to learn how to just sit back and drink 8-10 light beers.
Yeah.
But see, I've got this problem where I don't drink often, but when I do, I drink hard.
Yeah.
And 2 beers equals a shot. Then it's 1 beer equals a shot.
And then now you're just drinking liquor.
It used to include other things, but thankfully it doesn't anymore.
Yeah, right.
I think I've come a long way with just beers and shots.
Yeah, doing well.
But now I'm down to, I went to the music in the park, didn't drink. I did them shots. It was cool. I had a good time.
The Christmas party this year at work, usually we always get it in heavy.
Yeah.
I had like 2 drinks and I was good.
Yeah.
I was like, but I also had to work.
The lady that cuts my hair was on the Fat Guy Shots years ago, and she said it does affect your drinking. Somebody sent Todd Gilman sent me he's sober.
Yeah.
Sent me a thing saying that those medicines do make it so you don't want to drink.
And that makes sense because it slows your digestive, which means also it's going to slow the absorption of alcohol into your bloodstream.
I'm too old. I hate hangovers anymore. I remember my grandpa once said, my grandma used to drink. Grandpa, why don't you drink? He said, I got tired of waking up in the morning with a hangover. I got shit to do.
I've jokingly said when I was drinking a lot, I was like, I don't get hangovers anymore. I stopped drinking. And then I went, ooh, so this is how normal people feel in the morning? I'm like, so I was still having hangovers. I just called them morning. It was just morning.
So when we owned the bar and we used to drink hard, and then we had to be there early in the morning to do banking and all that, you got in a routine to where the hangover wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
You're right. The less drinking that you're
just used to it. You got a headache. Your body hurts.
Yeah.
You just move on.
I was going to add something to the carnival. Oh, the parade.
Right.
Saturday is the Carp Carnival Parade. Lineup is at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
At Arnold School on Page Ave. Everybody's welcome. You just show up. It has turned into Jackson County's premier parade.
That's a huge parade every year.
Because they don't have the Rose Parade anymore.
Oh.
So all the people in town that used to watch the Rose Parade come to that parade. I got in on it. I never used to do the parade. I did last year because I was a candidate. And from Arnold School all the way to the Township Hall, which is quite a ways, was packed full of people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the Rose
I
Parade.
did it every year with Grandma with the senior nutrition sites.
Yep. So the Jackson GOP will be in the parade. Karen Wooten's husband, David's bringing his classic car. I think it's a Monte Carlo. I'm not sure. And then my good friend, Rick LeMasters, donated a golf cart.
Nice.
Because I don't want to walk that all the way.
Hey.
Me, Karen, and Kathy Schmaltz.
Okay.
Kathy Schmaltz, Representative Kathy Schmaltz, likes to walk. She's been having knee problems. So Rick's donated a golf cart that me and Jimmy are picking up the Friday before. And then Jimmy will have his tractor and trailer and all that. So Carp Carnival Parade, Saturday, 10 o'clock. Just let everybody know. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm not going to get drunk on Friday.
Yeah,
got to be on a parade.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm doing parades.
Yeah, I've done them hungover. Not fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of walking.
Let's see.
Just sweating bourbon.
Kevin Karjewski. Yeah, I like that guy.
I do too.
I tell people, don't jump on the candidate bandwagon. They have till April to file. I don't know. I'm on the Kevin Karjewski bandwagon for Attorney General. I can't imagine anybody else being any better.
Yeah. Well, it's better than what we got.
Oh, we talked about Scott McMahon, Laura Perry, the big beautiful bill.
Big beautiful bill.
The
Elon ducked out over it.
Elon, yes. You know what? I didn't realize. So I think Elon was only supposed to do temporarily anyhow.
Yeah.
But the timing,
it worked out well.
I found out this morning. He's a little discouraged because they won't codify his Doge savings that he found.
Yeah. And
so I heard somebody asked him over the weekend if he'll be donating to Republican causes as much. He goes, no, not as much. Y'all screwed that one up. They'll fix it. They'll fix it.
Well, and actually, I respect Elon in a small way because of it. I think more billionaires maybe should be that way, where, I'm not going to pledge my allegiance undoingly or, undoubtedly to one side or the other.
Trump used to give to everybody.
How about I just support what I want to support when I want to support it?
Yeah.
What a concept.
Elon can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's about to be the first trillionaire ever.
The U.S. Senate has the big, beautiful bill currently started today. I didn't know how that process worked. I thought, okay, in a week we'll know. But you know what? I heard him ask over the weekend if they'll have it done by the end of July. So the Senate will mess with this for a while. And the reason why I think of it, the Jackson GOP is hosting Americans for Prosperity currently. Weekly, we do phone banking and all this to support the 2017 Trump tax cuts that expire this year that are in the big, beautiful bill.
Right.
And I kept saying, hey, AFP, once this is done, Senate has it. What are we going to chase then? There's
always something.
The efforts are the elimination of Michigan income tax and right to work. And then I found out, we might be making calls for the Trump tax cuts for another month and a half, 2 months,
possibly,
if that's the case. So I don't know how the Senate has to mess with it for quite a while, I guess.
I'll see.
Big beautiful bill.
Yeah, big beautiful bill.
Boulder, Colorado. The freak.
I saw something flash through, but I didn't read the article yet.
Some freak pro-Palestine guy with his shirt off, there should have been a flag right there, in a park, had a homemade flamethrower and some Molotov cocktails.
Nice.
And torched like 8 people.
Okay.
Some old people. The youngest one was 50-something, one was 80-something. They were real mad at this guy. He didn't run. They recorded him on the phone. He had his Molotov cocktails after he torched a few people, threatening to throw some more. And I'm like, I heard on WJR, hey, if you see anything weird, y'all need to start, dropping a dime. Listen, a guy roaming around in the park, you carrying some bottles, you probably should have said something. Here's something you're going to like, Kevin. Of course, the news ain't going to say this.
Right.
Boulder, Colorado is one of the worst cities in the nation where you can't be armed. So when I watched the video of this freak after torching some people, threatening to throw Molotov cocktails, I'm like, if that was here, someone would have taken him out.
Yeah, someone would have. Definitely.
Good example of unarmed citizens. You're sitting ducks. And did this freak, he drove an hour and a half to go to Boulder, but there was a Jewish event there.
Oh.
So he drove an hour and a half, so there's a Jewish event. You don't like Jews, so you're going to drive an hour and a half. Don't tell me he didn't know that nobody there is going to be armed. He knew that.
Yeah, that's why in Chicago, if you're going to go fuck around, you might as well fuck around Chicago because when you see the cops, that they can shoot you, but most people aren't. But then the youth, they may shoot you.
That's my thing. Other states are, they're trying to dwindle our Second Amendment rights here in Michigan. Constantly. We still have them.
Constantly.
You would have been shot. You would have been shot. That was
downtown
Jackson.
You would have been shot. You would have been dead.
Somebody would have shot you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Legitimately. Yeah, could have shot you dead.
And more than likely,
you would have probably second thought about not maybe doing that.
Absolutely. They taught us in CPL training. It's like, you know what, you might go.
The homemade flamethrower came out.
Yeah,
someone could have dropped him.
You learn that you might go to jail that night, but you're gonna get off.
Of course, I don't know what a homemade flamethrower looks like to identify.
Well, I would assume anytime you see fire with a guy with his shirt off at in a public thing, you should probably shoot him.
I was
or throw a rock or something. I don't know.
Speaking of crazy people, it's the same but different. The city of Jackson downtown has not so much a homeless problem, but a homeless begging problem.
Yes.
It's gotten worse.
Yes.
And your boss, major owner of
property owner. Yeah, he's a business owner
in downtown. He was expressing to me, something needs to change.
Yeah.
They're getting so brazen. They've come in and stolen tips off the bar in the Chase. The homeless pokies. So
they also had liquor stolen from behind the bar by not homeless owners.
I was downtown 3 times last week, and the same guy always hits everybody up.
Yep.
He was one of them, but there was a new one walking around. He was all and I seen him lay down on the ground, And I was walking into City Hall. Sir, can you help me? Like, you're going to come over there. Well, I had already seen him.
Yeah.
I'm not falling for it. I just ignored him, went inside. Felt bad. Hope
No.
the guy was all right. Well, whatever hustle he's got going on there. But what me and Rick were talking about, him and his wife used to go downtown Detroit to Cobo to watch shows. They stopped going because the panhandlers down there.
Cobo was the worst.
So as a business owner downtown Jackson, he knows there's an element of people that are not going to his businesses
because of that.
Because you know what? He's literally seen people that work downtown keep a couple dollar bills handy just to give to them because they don't want to tell them no.
They're exceptionally aggressive. That's
right. So I told Rick I was at Cobo, whatever they call it, hunting place. Downtown Detroit over the winter. For a convention. After the Friday convention, me and Karen Wooten, who's older than me and doesn't walk well like me, had to walk. We decided to walk to a political party at one of these famous bars down there. And it was longer than I expected. We made the walk, but we went through one side of Cobo, a whole dark block with some boarded up businesses and all that. And I looked at Karen. I said, you know what? I haven't seen one homeless person or anybody beg us for money. Here's my point. You go to Comerica Park, you go to Ford Field, guess what? That rarely happens. They fixed it there. You can fix it in downtown Jackson.
And I think it'll be easier if we nip it in the bud. I actually ran into a very aggressive homeless person in the parking lot where I live. I was just walking the dog one day.
You can kick his ass there.
Well, I'm walking the dog one day, and the first time I was like, I was rude, but I was polite. I was like, no, just like, and I like threw some fucking change at him. I had in my pocket, and I was like, he kept bugging me to the point where the next time and it's because I gave him change, I'm sure. He came back up and he's telling me I'd seen him before down out by the tracks, always alone, telling me this big sad story about how he needs $20 to feed his boy, his son. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, like I've seen you alone. You don't have a family,
right?
Like I saw you 2 days ago at the Speedway. You're just, and he got all shitty, and I'm like, I don't have any money. Well, can you get some money? What do you mean? Can I get some money?
Oh wow, that was.
And so I was just like, I got my dog there. I'm like, she's nice,
my
but
dog's hungry.
The fact that he'd approach me with my dog is smart. Anyway, so I was like, no.
So perfect place
I told
for
him to
that,
kick rocks, though.
As the trains board and unboard, the Conies that have been busy.
Yeah.
The Conies have been busy.
This is 3:00 in the morning, by the way.
Yeah, there's nothing but.
No, he was just being a weirdo.
Yeah.
He waited outside.
Drugs.
Like, he was like, oh, yeah, yeah, if you have anything. I'm like, no, dude, I told him I didn't have anything. I told him to fucking kick rocks. I came back down a couple hours later, walked the dog, and he was sitting right there. I was like, no, you need to get the fuck on, dude.
So the difference between downtown, and we talked about this last week, and in that parking lot, privately owned, the Coney's parking lot's privately owned, you can beat him with your stick.
Oh, I don't think I wasn't ready. The second time, especially when I came back down and he was just sitting there, I actually had a PTSD moment from when we had to remove a squatter. I was like,
go sleep over at the train depot, not here, right?
Yeah, go sleep. I don't give a where you sleep.
Rick was telling me that prior to Mayor Mahoney being elected, or something in this version, a few years ago, they were going to adopt an ordinance to where you could be homeless. And you could even sleep on the park benches, but it'd be against the law to panhandle downtown.
It is.
No, it isn't. They never passed the ordinance.
Well, then how come I ran out when I was busking, which is different than panhandling? I ran out of downtown when I was hired by a local business under the guise that.
That's why they're not doing anything down there. Rick said the ordinance never passed.
But
Mayor Mahoney has a soft spot for homeless.
Mayor Mahoney wasn't in charge when I was.
But anyway,
it doesn't matter.
That's what they need to do. So you can get arrested or fined or whatever, get in trouble. And I think I might take that issue up on for him.
I think it's big. I mean, you were talking about Cobo. Joe Louis Arena was the worst. Because there was the parking garage with the spiral ramp or whatever, right? At Joe Louis, they would sit in that spire, you were stuck. There's nothing you could do. It's narrow, and they would follow you, and you give them money to make them go away.
The popular destinations in the city of Detroit, you get very little of that because they take care of that.
Yeah, well,
and that's what needs to happen downtown.
If you're down there at Comerica Park, you got Ford Field right across the street, so you got the Fords and the Illiches, and they're like, no, we'll figure that out.
The
worst you get is the guys with the drums, and I think they're actually hired to be there. So
Rick threatened, he's thought in the back of his mind, holding up opening in his new Irish pub until they fix that problem and using that as leverage on the city. You're holding up development, guys. That's a good point. He's about ready to open.
When it's ready to open, it's ready to open. But he's also smart enough to know that he'd use that as leverage until then.
I would think that if the most major developer of downtown Jackson keeping things going. By the way, I brought up housing. They're building housing down there all the time. Yeah. You're gonna have people not want to live down there. He goes, I own housing downtown.
I don't want to live down there.
Right. Anyways, we went into
we got deep. By the way, I don't know what happened, but that clock is an hour off. So
we're probably at the end. Though,
we're coming to the end. Definitely.
I'm going through the list here.
Yeah, definitely.
JXNGOP.org.
Of course.
Get this. A whole bunch of stuff on there.
I was checking it out the other day when I was paying my rent.
Yeah, I just had Chris clean it up a little bit. It's kind of hard to get old stuff on. It's
still a little clustery, but it's getting better.
Managing a website's a pain in the ass. Yeah, harder than you think. But you online store, 38 items. Cool Jackson GOP hats and cups and mugs and koozies and stuff. I don't have my hat on today because I got in trouble for that. But I think the coolest thing that's on there now, you can go jxngop.org and access 7 Michigan produced podcasts.
There it is. Yeah. There's the website, guys.
Yep. A list of events in chronological order. There's Kevin Krajewski, and that's coming up. That's been postponed.
Yep.
Thank God.
This is donation. That's right. And then, but where is
at the very bottom?
Yeah, here's the apparel, and then
I'm on it 3 times a day. It's at the very bottom.
That's not a
so that you can hire.
Oh, here it is. Yep.
Yeah.
See podcasts. Okay, this is what he's talking about.
Yep. So when someone says, "Hey, I'm talking about Michigan Matters podcast," how do you access it? Guess what? jxngop.org. Boom, click it in, catch all the episodes. We've got Stick the Plan podcast.
Stick the Plan.
You know what says first?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Stars, Stripes, and Straight Talk right there.
No, that's second. Oh, that makes
Chris
sense.
and Dave. Well, he manages the website, so I guess this is the second. Michigan Matters, our buddy Mark Porton. By the way, Stars, Stripes, Straight Talk, and Michigan Matters are usually about 30-minute podcasts. A lot of people like that. It's hard to do. But,
telling me.
So you just click on 30 minutes as you're sitting there. Hits Home Jackson. Your boy John.
We'll be back.
That one's always an hour.
Right on an hour. He's really good about that, and that will be back this Thursday is the plan.
You were going to do it last Wednesday, but there's a power outage.
Yeah, I heard
at the Grandma's Boy Productions studio
here, wherever this is.
Yeah.
But I heard it was a crane operator at the steel recycling place. Knocked all the power out downtown.
Thank you. Anyways,
that doesn't matter.
You're going back this Thursday for that. But that's an hour. The Right Side podcast. That's produced by.
Oh, is that the Lenawee County one?
Nope, Livingston.
Okay.
That one is longer than Stick to the Plan. It is a 2-hour stream. The reason why I like it, I think they're
informative.
A lot of great guests. The chair who hosts it, and I can't think of her name right now.
Deb Drick.
I
just got it.
She used to work in Lansing. She has a lot of access to great guests, and she's not afraid to put them on live mostly. But that's a couple hours stream. Hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a long one. But I threw it on there because I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And then everybody loves Grassroots Army.
I love.
I didn't ask Garrett if I could. I asked the other people.
Well, why would they say no though?
Why would you say no? So Grassroots Army's on there. Rescue Michigan's on there. I watched Rescue Michigan last night. I learned a lot.
I have it in my queue to watch.
So, anyways, I think that's 6 or 7.
It's 4, 5, 6, 7 podcasts.
And if there's a Michigan produced, made conservative political podcast out there, there are others. Send me your link.
Yeah.
I'll throw it on. Those are just the ones that I are familiar with. So if you want on there, I think it's an easy way to do that.
I agree.
July 6th is the birthday of the Republican Party.
Oh,
149 years.
What do I buy a Republican Party for a gift for 149 years? They've gotten everything they needed.
Send money to the Jackson GOP.
I do that every month.
Anyways, unfortunately, this year that is on 4th of July weekend. We struggle with this often, but what makes this worse is on the Sunday of 4th of July weekend. That means the 4th of July is on Friday. And it's kind of hard to have a big event for that, but we'll be there. Probably 1 o'clock, serving some cake to the kids that live in the neighborhood. Say your prayer, pledge allegiance. I ran into Pasture Soul. You know the black pasture out of Detroit that did the inauguration
kind of
prayer?
Yeah, I know of him. Yes.
I ran into him at the Laura Perry event, and I'm going to see if he can't come. But it might be hard being 4th of July weekend. Have him give the prayer.
Give him a coordinate. Yeah, I think that'd be.
But anyways, we'll be down there about 1 o'clock on the 6th. Let's go back up here in order. June 12th, Kevin Jajewski, $12, pizza, beverage. Kevin's here. June 18th. It was set for the 16th. I found out this morning they moved it to the 18th. Precinct delegate and anybody wants to get involved event. The Jackson GOP precinct delegate subcommittee is putting on an event with Mr. John Rutan. Constitutional scholar, I guess.
Yeah,
teaches classes on the Constitution. He knows it better than anybody. I don't know. He'll be here. And then Susan Kokinda, who is one of the vice chairs of the Michigan GOP. I forget what vice chair or what, but Susan Kokinda, she'll be here. Okay. That's free, guys. You just show up, and I think the old ladies make some food, and you get to eat.
And sometimes that food's better than the food they buy.
But those are coming up, and you can find them all on jxngop.org. That's my announcements.
Quick shout out to Roy Rat. Thank you he went ahead and posted all of our links in the chat for anyone that wants to click on those, including JXNGOP, the Grand New Party Pack, our Facebook, and our YouTube. Thank you, Roy Rat. He does that for my show too. He's cool. the best unofficial producer. And I know we got to wrap it up, but there's one quick thing I want to touch on. I haven't even talked to you about this. I had to go to the doctor last week to get my 3rd hepatitis vaccine or what. I have to do it for the treatment I get. Right. Well, while I'm there, they're listing off the other vaccines that I'm eligible for. And anyone that's watched the show knows that, and you definitely know, Dad, that my distrust of vaccines.
Right.
And I understand most vaccines, they make sense. Well, of course, the COVID vaccine came up.
Oh.
And I was like,
no, still give that, huh?
Yeah. Well, there's still boosters. I'm like, no. Right. Well, and the lady was kind of weird about it, but I'm like, no, I'm just do the hepatitis. I'll come back for my tetanus. I'm fine with the tetanus.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. Well, she's like, well, we really encourage. I'm like, I don't care what you encourage. We're not doing that. And I didn't go into why or anything. It just doesn't matter. To the point where she was so leery that she's like, well, hold on a second. I'm going to go grab somebody to that they have there to educate me on the COVID vaccine and its effectiveness and its safety.
Is that Henry Ford?
Yeah. And I literally, I went, no, you're wasting your time. She's like, well, I'm just going to get him anyway. It'll only take a second. She walked out the door and I walked right behind her. I'm not going to talk to this guy.
They're going to book you your next appointment.
They're going to take my money. And I'm going to guess, I had this weird, I was already in a mood. I had this weird feeling that it was not going to be good. There would have been an incident. I was irritated. That fact, no, hold on. No. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up just because
the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the pharmaceutical industry pushing that shit.
They still are. It's safe.
It reminds me when I used to sell used cars many years ago. They had a rule: if you waited on a customer on the parking lot, that you could not let them go.
Yeah.
Unless you obtain their phone number.
Of course.
And you would come up with tricks with if they went get the phone number. Hold on, I'll get you a gift. And then they had some stupid stuff. or hey, you want a water or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go in, you get somebody better than you, the manager come out to
bring
keep them on the lot to talk them into a car. Same shit.
Yeah.
So medical industry has turned into used car salesman.
Yeah. Oh, or my favorite tactic. Hey, do you want to win this TV?
That worked well.
Sold a lot of satellite systems.
They probably still trying to give away that same TV. It's outdated.
Well, we worked for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Never once saw that TV move.
No, there was never a drawing.
No. Anyways, that's all I had.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it from me too. Guys, make sure
next week, Kevin Kajewski, candidate for Michigan Attorney General.
Yes. He will be live. Is he remote or is he coming in live?
Remote.
Okay. So he'll be here though. And guys, make sure you follow this channel, like this stream. Same thing if you're watching on YouTube. I saw a couple people did watch on YouTube here. So follow, and if you're watching on Rumble, follow us on YouTube too. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, because if we get to 100 likes or whatever, we can
double check those likes when you can. We got to start pushing that hard. So
yeah, I've been trying to
live on Facebook.
Push it the best. Facebook's being a butthole. Other than that, I don't have anything else. You got nothing else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll have a guest, Kevin Kajewski.
It's pronounced differently, but it's Kajewski. That's his wife calls it Kajewski. So
okay, well, let's go with what his wife says. All right, everybody, have a great one, and we will see you guys next week. Be safe.
Don't bend the knee, hold the line. Only tyrants demand compliance. We will not comply. Now stick to our plan and fight. Now it's you and me. First suppression, one for the ages. They won't hold us down. No. We're fired up at the sound of one nation under God, indivisible. They will try to take our crown, but they can't take it from me. Stars, 13 stripes, ain't it beautiful? It's time we unite, unmovable, standing side by side, united we stand, divided they will fall. One nation under God, indivisible. They will try to take our crown, but they can't take it from me. We have to stick to the plan. We will stick to the plan. It's liberty for